Hi family, God bless you in Jesus' mighty name. Welcome back to our channel. My name is MJ, where we talk all things about autism. So the last video that you would have maybe seen was the one that we did at We Rock the Spectrum. It was, as I said on the video, it was a lot of fun. It was so nice to see a lot of families, a lot of course, it was a lot more mothers than fathers, which is okay. But it was great. It was good to see the turnout, and the ladies that actually had the event hosted for us spoke about their own experiences with their kids. And it was great to just share information, because when we come together like that, is to gain knowledge that we can apply that towards our own lives, and how what they kind of pass on to us, we can also use it in our own children. So it was great. It was really, really, really nice. So I just wanted to just quickly just go over that again, and just say it was truly a remarkable time for the kids. Kids were everywhere. But on that note, I met a lady there who was from Kenya, and she had a 4-year-old son. And we were just sharing Jason's own experience, the son's own experience, and she was kind of in this middle crossroad because the kid was about to turn 5. So we're just talking about like the path that we decided to take for Jason. And she says, "Oh, I'm not too sure if I want to send him to elementary school yet. I think that I just wanted him to continue with ABA." And every parent has, the whatever choice that works for the child at that moment. Because I remember when Jason was in the achievement programs through Kennedy, and he was turning 5. So there was another mom who said she would rather keep the kiddo at home for 1 more year and see how she does with ABA and the other therapies that they had for her, and hold back that child for 1 year going into kindergarten. Everybody has a choice. So later on, I caught up with the mom, and the mom said, she wishes that she had sent the child to school. So for us, I pushed Jason to go to school, because one of the issues that he had was the speech issue. He was a late talker, and so the mom and I were just kind of agreeing and talking to each other and connecting that way. So I shared with her, I said, honestly, the only way most of these kids will be able to start using that verbal language and speaking using their natural voice is to see other kids. That might not work for everybody's, child, of course, but that's what I experienced with Jason. Like when Jason went to school, he was more verbal. They gave him an iPad to use to communicate. He took that as his purse, if I can use that, wherever he went, he had it. So she was explaining to me that the kiddo had his own instrument or iPad, and he uses it, but not as he should. And I said, that's just the beginning, because once they start using it and hitting the buttons, and the buttons start speaking for them, and it start eventually moves on to sentence structure. I love those iPads. It's a very good base for the kids. So now back to the school thing. I told her, I said, I will really encourage you to send him to school. There's something about them being around other kids and experiencing all of that, and then that pushing them to be like, "Oh, I see you're talking, why can't I do that?" So she said, she will consider it. And I said, yeah, ABA has its role. Don't get me wrong, I love ABA. We've had that since Jason was 2.5, and school has its own role. So the one thing that sometimes the ABA is missing is just that piece of socialization. Though yes, ABA would take them to the park or to the clinic, and there are other kids there, but there's something about like a 6-7 hour day in school where there's a cafeteria, there's music, there's art, there's, so there's all these variations that kind of help these kids get to a different level. So I suggested that to the mom, and she really listened, and she was like, "I really think maybe." So it was good. I loved our conversations that we had, not, as I said, not only with the parents, but also the people that hosted us. And that brings me to the point of the book that I wrote 3 years ago. Because it was written 3 years ago, it's really cheap now on Amazon. So I would encourage, and this is primarily for parents that are just starting the journey, because I covered this from beginning of his diagnosis, all of my emotional things and feelings that I went through, going through grief during this moment, and what I did to kind of push, if I can say, push Jason to a better place. So I encourage all the beginners, all the beginning families to read this book. I mean, how the small A taught me to pray big, and truly, I poured my heart in on this. Even after I went back and I wrote it, I reread it, I still cried. But it gives you resources. It gives you what our pluses and minuses were. It gives you, I would really encourage all the beginners to kind of go through this, which is where we are now with Jason's journey, where he's out of elementary, well, in elementary school still, but not like in that beginning stage. He's moved on. So I would definitely encourage parents that are trying to say, if we choose this, what will happen? If we choose that, what will happen? So that was my resource for the day. But once again, check out our SEG Center website, and just be encouraged in the midst of it all. Like I always said, Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. He's in the midst of us. He will continue to help our children and continue to encourage us to be strong through this journey, because believe you me, it's not a small journey to go through. So be encouraged, families, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.